Hi, I'm Ivy Murphy. I use any pronouns, and I am the Associate Puppet Designer for Yakima River Adventure.
My name is Michael Calandra, he, him, and I am one of the assistant puppet designers for Yakima.
My name is Cesar Trejo. I use he, him pronouns, and I am the other assistant puppet designer.
The process for making puppets for us looks like getting the design or designing a puppet and then transferring that design to a bird's eye view onto paper and then cutting that out of foam and then cutting out the limbs and attaching the limbs via wood and webbing and then skinning the puppet and handing it off for rehearsal.
The structure of the puppets is mostly foam body with pieces of webbing or some fabric that we can attach more foam to, or small pieces of wood to make the articulation in the joints. Um, the heads are either foam or this what's this called?
Styrofoam?
The styrofoam, yes. We'll carve it out. We'll paper mache it. We'll add any articulation we need, like mouths, and then we will attach it to the head via webbing, wood, and hot glue.
The experience for making these puppets has been a very unique one because puppets are unlike really anything else we do in theater. So starting in fall quarter from learning what a puppet is and the very basic construction of it, all the way up to where we are now, where we are designing and creating our own puppets, has been a very interesting experience, and I'm very glad to have gone through it.
The design process for me has been a lot of looking up what is native to Washington and specifically the Yakima River Canyon, um, and watching videos of how those specific animals move or their behavior, what their habitat's like, and stuff like that to better inform my design process and make sure that I am true to the actual animal as possible.
Once we have the idea of what they should look like, because these are animals that exist in the real world, we then take some artistic liberty and we pattern it out and start shaping the foam or the styrofoam that we're carving. Um, and that's kind of where we start after we design the puppet. The way that we decided the puppet should work, we based it off of, I have an example here, Bunraku puppetry. Can I get some attention? Thank you. So this is the first type of puppet we started working with. Um, and the way we attached all the limbs and made the puppets work for the Yakima River adventure is based off of this type of puppet. So the way we attached the limbs for the animals is very similar to the way that it's attached here. The webbing makes it so that the limbs can only move in certain ways that are natural. So we had to figure out how animals move their limbs, and then attach the webbing with hot glue, staples, and even tape sometimes to create that effect.
So if you look at the leg here, for example, the way the webbing is wrapped around the hip joint makes it so this puppet's leg can go up pretty far as if you were to lift your own leg, but moving it backwards, you can only lift it so far because the webbing stops it. The way the webbing is wrapped around the wood stops it from going any farther than what is natural. My favorite puppet is Bee the Beaver because I worked with her like from scratch and built her all the way up to before she was skinned, and so I've just grown really close with her, I guess, her and Vern, because I watched a lot of beaver videos.
I worked on Bernard a lot, and so like he started off as a cardboard box that I found here in the shop, and being like, okay, how do I make this look like a bear? And I think he's the one I worked on the most, so he's the one I learned the most with, shaping a body and then carving. There were times where I was unhappy with how he looked, but now that he's like getting closer to being finished, it's like trust the process, and I just have loved working on him because I've learned a lot.
I think at the moment, my favorite puppet is probably Bernard the Bear. He's just a big, lovable dope. Although, once my herons are all finished and in their full majesty that may change. People should come see Yakima River Adventure because it is a very unique form of theater as opposed to the traditional go sit in your seat, watch a show. This is interactive with the audience. The audience gets to touch things, they get to interact with the characters and respond. And it's, as opposed to a standard theater experience, it's more of, I guess, a life experience because it is an adventure along the Yakima River that the audience members will be going on.
Yakima River Adventure is a very unique show that I believe would have a lot of benefits for anyone, but specifically for neurodivergent people and children. I believe that this is an outlet where they can get some support that they might not be able to get anywhere else. And if someone wants to see a beaver or wants to see a bear, this is an outlet where they can do that without the dangers of meeting an actual bear.
It's been a really fun adventure working on puppets with my friends.
Yeah.
And sometimes it feels hectic because we're trying to figure out how does this look? How is it supposed to move? But I think I've had so much fun and I've learned so much, and I wouldn't have chosen any other people to do